Well, guys, it seems that every single day new things come out with this Chaos Zero Nightmare drama stuff, and I care a lot about it just because I play the game a ton and because I want the game to succeed, but there's a lot of problems with it, obviously, in Korea. So this post was made presumably by the director. They don't say directly that it is them, but every single thing about it leads it to be this person. And this is pretty much hot off the presses overall. This is a Korean post translated to English, so not everything is going to sound perfect, so I might have to paraphrase some things to make it make more sense. But the Chaos Zero Nightmare drama has so many different facets to it. There's the whole Owen thing, then there's the pull system being bad, then there's the story writer initially being bullied and leaving the company, then there's the CEO, or not CEO, but the director having like a big ego and like demanding certain things. And there's just so much stuff going on. Then there's the political landscape of Korea with like feminism movement and all sorts of stuff. So there's like so many different things. It's just a giant shitstorm of garbage all hitting this game at the same time. Now, I will say this. I believe that this story would not have become even nearly as big of a deal if it wasn't for the whole political climate with, feminism movement and other stuff like that. I think it would have probably remained a much smaller story of, oh, this guy got bullied and he was a good writer and they kind of messed up the story and that really sucks. But this became such a big mainstream thing in Korea. Like, it's huge over there. And I think it's probably due to that and their political climate more of, even though there are all these other facets to it. Now, let's talk about this. I'll read it all out. This is my final greeting, more like final goodbye, I suppose. I think this will be the last post I write. I'd like to apologize to, and it's the website's family. As a member of the community that has found happiness in life by feeling friendship with each and every person here, causing such a stir, and for causing great disappointment and discomfort, I apologize for. This place has been a part of my life and holds great meaning. I owe a great debt to those who have shared it with me. I myself feel endless disgust, shame, and infinite guilt towards myself. I am a nobody. Looking back, I realized those words about creating the world's best 2D graphics in a game unlike anything you've ever seen before were simply intended to attract more attention. I never anticipated how offending so many people would be. I sincerely apologize. But Super Creative is real. That's SG, Smilegate, pretty much. They own Super Creative. It's a place filled with passionate, respectable developers. I thank you for making my wildest dreams come true like perfect magic, and I sincerely hope that our organization will not be criticized because of me. He's essentially trying to tank all the aggro, right? He's using a taunt where he's trying to be responsible for everything and all the employees are blameless. And I will say, from what I have heard, it seems as though this guy's ego is kind of what got in the way, because his ego clashing with the writer is what caused a lot of these problems. So it might not only be him tanking aggro, but it might be the absolute truth that it was essentially him. Also, apparently there may have been nepotism involved of him trying to hire other writers that he wanted. So there's a lot to that. And there's also a third thing of apparently him trying to essentially change the story to be something he's more interested in, because supposedly he was making a self-insert, and this isn't 100% confirmed, but people believe that this character Lewis is a self-insert of him. I don't really know how that is. They look nothing alike, obviously. But supposedly this guy who's the super cool guy is sort of his self-insert, not the character Owen. But we don't really have full confirmation on that. This is merely more of a rumor. But the character was added due to his interference, I believe. Now it goes on to say, I truly respect their work and dedication, the people working at the company. I've been working as a director at, and I believe this is just basically Super Creative since 2000. I've been working with the developers on almost every little thing. Because we changed many things through numerous trials and errors and challenges, a lot of development costs have been invested. I thought it would be a good opportunity to introduce some of the art and features that were scrapped along the way. Each piece was lovingly crafted with the developers, and I'm happy you found them engaging. In particular, the original draft is the work of the newly formed scenario team, and it's a feature you'll eventually unlock in-game through an update. I'm thrilled to hear you're enjoying it. Beyond that, as a member of the development team behind all aspects of art, game design, and combat, I'm proud and excited for the future. I disagree with the claim that someone was pushed out of the company, I assume, by politics. As a representative, my responsibilities are limitless, so I don't have much to say. Not everyone's visions is the same, and I tried my best to hold their hand until the end. Now, this would directly contradict what a lot of people have heard if this is true, so I'm not entirely sure about this one. The fact that Chaos Zero Nightmare's regular employee turnover rate is one of the lowest in the industry is a source of great pride for me and all of our employees. There is no lie in the fact that all the past work you are seeing, except for the current main scenario, was developed 99% with current developers. So he's saying that not many people have left, but there's been a lot of rumors that supposedly there's been lots of turnover, and scenario and writers join and then leave soon after, but there's not really been any confirmation of that. It's mostly been rumors, but this is supposedly dispelling that entire thing. The one thing that is essentially 100% confirmed is that the original main story writer, which was a respected writer who has worked on a work, I believe, called Reincarnated Cthulhu, that guy did guaranteed leave, and I believe he works for Blue Archive now, supposedly. Now to continue, we felt that the main scenario and the completeness of the game were limited within our development level. During the project's development, I was deeply impressed by MiHoYo's authenticity towards subculture, and I decided to supplement the scenario later. However, we went through this process too hard and could no longer postpone the launch due to production cost overruns. It lowered the overall quality of the project, and my unreasonable challenge caused damage not only to the studio but also to the users. The main scenario, which will be revised, will be beautifully reborn thanks to the strong will of the current scenario team. If you liked the original plan, you can look forward to it. So, they are rewriting the entire story. Everybody knows that. Maybe they're not going to be rewriting some of the newer things that they're already making because maybe the story is better. From what I've heard from people, essentially the story absolutely sucks at the beginning, but then it gets significantly better as it goes on, and maybe some of that is from the previous writer as well. Now, I will say something interesting about Chaos Zero Nightmare. This game, I believe, was originally supposed to be released last year, which is kind of insane because it's near the end of this year, so that means basically an entire year ago it was supposed to be released. And so all of this drama in the workplace and other issues is probably what caused that giant delay, and what caused them to have to rewrite and redo so many things. So maybe this game was supposed to be released a long time ago, but then due to all these problems and maybe workers leaving, etc., maybe that's why all that happened. So maybe that's what also caused the production cost overruns. That could be a huge issue. And he also says he tried to supplement the scenario, so he is kind of confirming that he had something to do with interfering in on the story, whether good or bad. He's essentially confirming that. Although it is late, Super Creative is a company that builds projects with a sense of vitality based on a solid worldview and story. I am working on improving my constitution. It will take some time for my weakness to be completely improved, but by then my words will be new. I think it will be a second golden age of gaining life. Also, all Korean game developers who are struggling in the subculture market under the strong influence of large capital and fierce overseas competitors, I would like to express my respect and support to you all. I wish I could turn back time. I greet many people with an arrogant attitude. So obviously some of the wording on this isn't quite correct and sounds a bit odd, but I think you get the general gist. From the wording here, it does kind of seem as though he's not leaving the company or stepping down. He says it'll take time for my weakness to be improved, but by then my works will be new. I'm assuming that means he's staying, and I'm not sure if this is a good idea or not, because he has essentially tanked all of the hate, and it also might be 100% his fault. But either way, pretty much everyone in Korea is saying this guy should either step down or leave, etc. And maybe that would remove a lot of the hatred for the game, maybe it wouldn't. But potentially just having him step down and take like a second or third in command role or an advisor role would be a lot better, because people just really hate the guy. And if you look at the comments here, well, let's see. I wish I could turn back time, but someone removed the setting to turn back time because the original story was a lot more about time reversal and stuff. But when did you see them as family? Please get out of the gaming industry and don't come back again. You've been running it well since, I'm assuming, Epic 7. It must be good you've made a lot of money. It will be on people's lips for 100 years. Hello, goodbye now. Like, pretty much just everyone is just like, shut the hell up, get out of here. Now, he did do that apology stream, and he tanked it. During that entire apology stream, people were non-stop trashing him. It looked like a League of Legends lobby. It was unreal how hard people were trashing the guy. They have no respect for him, they don't like him, and, well, things aren't looking really great. Now, obviously, this entire story stemmed from the very beginning that people heard was about the whole Owen NTR thing. And as I said before, I think that the entire story exploded due to the fact that the Owen NTR thing is not only kind of funny, but also there are definitely some incels out there that take it really, really seriously. They're not the majority of everybody, but there definitely is a movement of that caused it to, I think, explode into a much bigger story because of the whole, like, incel versus feminism movement, and it's a big deal in Korea right now. And I think that made the story explode. If it was just about a writer getting bullied at the studio and a director with a big ego replacing the story, I really don't think that this would have become so mainstream. But we're at the point where in Korea, essentially drama channels, like all sorts of big channels, are pretty much talking about it. It's become way bigger than just the game. People outside of the gacha sphere and outside of the gaming sphere are even talking about it. It's become such a mainstream thing, and that's pretty much what caused the director to have to make that live stream initially, and what's caused all these other things too. So, where does this lead us? Well, I don't know. Chaos Zero Nightmare, it's a really fun game with a ton of problems, the story being one of those problems. It's really a shame to see this. There's a very common mentality in Korea that essentially, rather than hope for the game to get better, they kind of just want the game to die or close down, which honestly makes me kind of sad because, I mean, you could maybe hate what happened with the game, but if they improve that, shouldn't you be happy by that maybe? So it's a shame to see that mentality. The game seems to be picking up steam and doing pretty well in Japan. It seems as though overall in the West it's pretty well liked. In fact, I would say that if you look at Google Play reviews, they're essentially good in every single country in the world except for South Korea, where it's like below a 2, I believe. Now the funny part is, Epic 7 actually is kind of carried by the rest of the world too in a lot of ways. Epic 7 had an insane amount of drama, and it was their previous game. And it got to the point where Korea basically said, like, screw you guys, like, I don't want to play, like, you don't care about us, all this other kind of stuff. So I guess they're not strangers to this, right? So maybe Chaos Zero Nightmare is going to be fine. But at the same time, it is kind of disappointing to see. Now, I think I pretty much have the full story of the entire events. Even though there is a lot to it, I think I've pretty much talked about all of the different problems. It's a shame to see this happen. I hope that the game gets better. I hope that people are willing to give the game a second chance at some point. I would say the best solution is that the director probably steps down or, you know, just isn't the figurehead of the company right now, and that somebody else takes his place, and then they rewrite the story to be something really good. But unfortunately, the damage is done. The original writer is gone, and he ain't gonna come back. And, well, the people absolutely hate it over there. So, I guess we'll see what happens. The game has made a good amount of money so far in its first month, despite not even really having amazing packs or anything, which is nice to see. Hopefully it'll keep chugging on. Anyways, that's about all I want to talk about. This is the new update of what's going on with it. Let's hope for the best, and, well, I guess we'll see what happens. Thanks a bunch for watching.